Welcome to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols, and
I'm Dave Kenny.
this is the segment that we talk about the Planning Commission, the consuls, and the various governmental entities that affect all the people out there with their legislation and rules.
And whether it be in the village of Oxford, the township of Oxford, Addison Township, or Leonard, we cover them all.
We at least try, and we add a little humor to it. Hi, a little humor. Okay. First subject we're going to talk about is the village council. And that council meeting was September 10th, and there were a number of things that came up. They made the normal approvals of the agenda and so forth. And when it came time to talking to the public, the deputy sheriff, undersheriff, Mike McCabe, came up to the podium and the microphone. And you know what he had to say?
He was not pleased with a comment that President Pro Tem Dave Bailey made at the previous meeting.
Yep, and his comment, I think, at the previous meeting was something to the fact that he would not trust the life and, if it were under Oxford's control, the 911, as opposed to the local 911. And that was offensive.
You mean under Oakland's?
Under Oakland's,
right?
yes.
You said Oxford.
Oh, did
Okay.
I'm sorry, Oakland. Wouldn't trust Oakland's security of the 911, if it was needed.
And
as
this
far as
had to
life.
do with who gets the dispatch center.
And that was a big debate, of course, that came up. As we know, the 911 situation is one where we have the local entity in Oxford, which costs the people about $245,000 a year. And it was approved by the council in the last meeting that we would take on Lake Orion, and also purchase $114,000 in equipment to upgrade the existing system, which is required by the state of Michigan, and along with that, $8,000 a month in terms of maintenance.
Not that we could have done anything with the savings we would have got.
You think? Excuse me. I can think of a lot of places that money could go, and I'll bet the residents out there probably could too.
If given a choice, but they weren't.
Well, why weren't they given a choice?
Because they decided to make that decision at the council.
Who's they?
And not put it out for a vote. Those members of the council.
All the members?
Well, it was proposed by one and approved by the others.
Okay.
Any exceptions to that?
Yes, there was one dissenting,
Oh,
because I adamantly feel that should have went to the vote of the people.
adamantly.
Adamantly. Strongly.
Thank you.
Somebody just turned out the lights. Did you see that?
And,
I think it was Bill. Hi, Bill.
Bill doesn't like us looking at the monitor.
Oh, is that what it is? Oh, okay. I, for some reason, thought the camera... Well, anyway. So the undersheriff really blasted Bailey and asked for an apology. And
I understand members of the council were also backing that request too.
they were at that point. I don't know if they spoke up, during the actual conversation that he had, to the public in the last meeting. I believe maybe the council members didn't. I know I felt it wasn't something that was
Called for.
called for, yeah. And not only that, I think what happened here is that it shows adamantly that the pro tem, Mr. Bailey, had an agenda. That his agenda was to degrade the Oxford 911 system in order to promote his idea of keeping the local. In essence, they
Oh, you
operate
mean
the
the
same.
Oakland again?
Yeah, did I say Oakland?
Yes, you did.
Or, boy, maybe I'll reshoot this, huh? Could be more humorous this way. They'll say, "What the heck's going on out there?" I
What
don't
you
understand
talking
this
about,
guy is
boy?
saying. But anyway, so Oakland County, I think, to shed a bad light on Oakland County, which was not a good thing.
No. But that ship has sailed, and get out your millage paddles.
Well, there might be a little light there yet. We're not sure, and
Really?
I can't really fill you in yet. But if you will come
You
to the
do
next
that to
council
me all the
meeting,
time.
you may very well. And you have a list
I've got
of
a
when-
secret and I can't tell you.
Yes. And you know when the next council meeting is, so when we get to that, you mentioned we'll invite everybody to be there.
Yep,
It's pretty
absolutely.
important. There's other things that came up too, and they talked about election of the council president, because right now Bailey serves as a pro tem,
Right, and I don't know if that is a usual option once the president resigns, that the pro tem becomes the president. Is that the normal way that things go?
Normally, that would be the case. However, there are only 2 elected officials on the council.
Right.
The rest of us are appointed, and the latest appointment was just made, and that's with Brian Cloutier,
Who's also the director of the Oxford Library.
Yes,
He does a good job at it.
yes, and he's very good with the financial end, both the governmental finances and keeping books and business. So
Right.
he's really on top of it. I'm really glad to see him join the group. There were 2 other candidates that were qualified as well. One was Madonna Van Fossen, who she applied, and the other one was, do you know who he was? Mike Young.
Mike Tankard? No.
Mike Young.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
And yes, he's related to the gentleman that owns the jewelry store downtown.
Oh, well
So,
then.
but he is also serving on the township board, I believe the planning commission.
Okay.
And he's been pretty active, with the township. He lives in Oxford, in the village.
Does that not making the pro tem a president is sort of is that a sort of a vote of no confidence?
In a sense, it is. I think that's a point well taken. I think that there are probably people on the council that feel that the choice that they have, this wouldn't be the right choice for the president if they had other options.
I
Now,
see.
what they are looking at right now is the possibility of having either a special election to elect new council members, which I think is a great idea. If that happens, that can happen sometime maybe this November.
Okay.
And also, there's some other things that could happen as well. Other things could be put on the ballot at that time. But should that happen, then you'll have a whole new group of 5 members for the council. Now, that's not to say that Bailey couldn't run again, and might
Right.
run and might be elected again.
And there was a small financial issue with that. If he had been elected president, he would have gotten $100 a meeting, which he won't get
No,
now.
it's not $100 a meeting.
Oh, it's $100 a year.
No, it's
is
not.
it?
It's $200 a year.
Well then,
That he would get in addition to what he gets now. All the other members get $15 per meeting. He would
Right.
get $30 per meeting. With a
okay.
maximum of, the other members, $500 per year. His maximum would be $700 per year.
The
That's the way
clouds,
it
the
works.
clouds have parted and the financial light has shone.
Yeah, right. With that, I'll tell you what, let's take a quick break, and we'll come back, and I'll try not to get all fumbled up with the tongue on the next run.
No.
We'll be back. Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols, and
And I'm Dave Kenny.
we were just talking about the village council and about the problems that occurred, with Mr. Bailey and the deputy sheriff from Oakland County.
Right.
That being said, the next item that came up, which was a big item, is a lot of people showed up. It was packed, wall-to-wall people.
Oh boy.
And they were all business people. And they were concerned with the second reading of the sign ordinance.
I see.
Now, you do know that the sign ordinance has taken how many years to try to come up with a...
Yes, over the years they've been dipping it in and wringing it out, and looks like it's back in the dip again.
It is back in the dip again. And I don't know how this dip is going to turn out, but I can tell you, there are certainly some issues. The ordinance, the sign reading originally was to eliminate sandwich boards. And we talked about sandwiches to go and all these things in the past.
Oh, that's right.
But-
Stable, let's just say, what do you call it? Static versus dynamic
Right.
sandwich boards.
Yes, right. So anyway, they were upset that they were going to be removed from the ordinance, that nobody could have sandwich boards. And there was a whole stream of people that got up to the microphone and they said, we have to have it. It's the way we attract traffic into our business. And it went on.
Someone's ox got gored.
That's the phrase I was looking for, yes. Yes, they did. So when it was all said and done, they also had an objection to the amount of signage where it could be placed on their window on the inside.
Oh,
They were
after all this time?
Yes, well, they were saying in the ordinance that it has to be so high on the window, on the inside, and it can only be so much square footage once you get it in, which that's understandable, but,
Did these people ever go to the planning commission meetings?
well.
Where these
over the-
decisions were recommended?
Well, apparently not, because according to the planning commission, the DDA recommended they do away with sandwich boards. So nobody talked to the people downtown. So now the town people are coming to us, and they are talking, and they're saying, you know, this is a no-no, we don't want this, and the signage on the bridge too. I mean, they're saying, the planning commission said no more signs on the bridge. Well, they're saying there are cases where they would like signs on the bridge, you know, have there be a permit or whatever, that there should be signage on the bridge. And so it was agreed, I think, by council members that it would be 1 foot high sign, letters, and a certain length, and I believe it's 2 to 4 feet high, I think, is as high as it can go. But anyway,
So the
there-
ship of planning has sailed back into port.
well, the council, yeah, it has. I hope that sucker don't sink. But anyway, they have reviewed these items, and also a real estate company was complaining that the signs for real estate, you know, were reduced in size, and they couldn't be effective too. So the position was that if this is what business needs, and it's not causing any problems otherwise, let them have it. We don't want to tell the businesses how to run their business. They have to succeed. So everybody got together on this thing, and these
They did
items
this-
were put back in.
So basically, they really didn't send it back to the planning commission. They made a decision on the spot.
In essence, that's true, but it does end up back to the planning commission to review it again.
Oh,
And, yeah, and that's because the consultant will rewrite this ordinance, and then he will bring it for the next reading.
to the displeasure of someone else, I'm sure.
Yes, and when we get into the planning commission meeting, that's the next thing we're gonna talk about.
Oh, good.
And, because I happened to go to that meeting and intercepted that information while I was there. So I'll be able to, you know, give you more information on it.
Wonderful.
But, anyway, so it is in the process of being rewritten. So I think if it's written in the fashion which these people wanted, I think they'll be pretty happy. There were some people say, well,
It's turning into the Flying Dutchman.
yeah, here's what I heard though. Get this, a couple of people stood up and they said, well, we don't like this ordinance. Well, it only took 3 years to do it. There's lots of other things in here. And we think you should table it and we should look at the whole thing. It's probably
I'm
not
sure
done.
Supasardi was going, oh,
No, I was
no."
going, no. So we need to get this thing passed. So if you want to make addendums to it later down the line, fine, so be it. But right now, this is a document. Let's run with it. So make these adjustments. It should be ready to fly.
Boy, we'd never have a constitution if there was a sign ordinance in it.
We're going to have a country. They have to negotiate. They want to figure out which gun to put the bullets in or whatever, who to shoot. But anyway, so there are definitely some issues. There's more things coming down the line. There's financial situations that we need to be
Aware of?
cognizant. Yes, it's going to bite you right by the sneakers if we're not careful.
Can you be more specific?
I can down the line. Right now I can't, but
You always do that.
because there may be some solutions to it yet,
Oh,
even
good.
though I feel that we've exhausted.
Oh.
I would like to have seen the people vote for, you know, the 911 issue, instead of the 3 council members deciding for the whole community that this is the way it's going to be.
Well.
And maybe that will change yet, who knows? I mean, if enough people complain about it, as they did in the signage, maybe, you know, they'll get a word in before this is done. Okay, so any questions on the council?
Nope.
Nope?
Nope. I think we
Okay.
covered all these salient points, as they say.
Now, I said we'd get to the planning commission. That's the next thing we went to.
All right.
So guess what? Who serves on the planning commission? They didn't have a quorum, and they want to reduce from 9 members down to 7. I don't know if they have a quorum if they
So
go
you
to
went
7.
from a torches and pitchfork meeting to I don't care.
Right. Well, they couldn't make any decisions.
Oh.
That's for sure, because there wasn't a quorum.
Well, I'm sure there were good reasons for people being absent.
Well, I'm sure there was, but they still were able to cover some other issues. And one of the things, the sign. Okay, sign issue came up again, sandwich
What-
boards and that kind of
What
thing.
exactly can and can't they cover if there is no quorum? just for
Well,
an uneducated person.
they can discuss it for future action, so that
Okay.
they'll be informed.
All right.
But here's the deal. You have Helmuth, who voted, she didn't like the idea that there were sandwich boards. You have Basardi, and she don't like the idea of sandwich boards. And both these people are on the board. And there were only 3 people there. And Brian, who is very open-minded about this thing, feels that for the business, if it's necessary, let them have what they need to have, even though he doesn't agree with the sandwich board. But he is the chairman of the Planning Commission and was in charge of the Ordinance Committee to put the signage
Well,
together.
of course,
So,
one of the concerns, I'm sure, about letting signs go this way and that way is to ruin the look of the downtown area. But then again, you have business concerns. So there you go.
you're trying to tell me more, but I'll be back in just a moment, and so will you, I hope. Welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
Okay, we're just talking about the Planning Commission. And they, of course, got involved in the signage again.
Hot potato.
Yep, hot potato. And what's interesting is the people I just mentioned, Sue Basardi and Maureen Helmuth, both would not like to see these signs. So, and they, again, attacked that bear with the same club. And they said that they disagree that these signs should be there. So I'm thinking in the background, what did you not listen to when these hundreds of people showed up and they tried to tell you what you needed?
It would seem to me that the Planning Commission, given a direction to take by the council, should approach their problem that way.
Right. Well, it's going to end right with the council anyway when it comes
Okay.
back. But it'll be interesting to see if these underlying politics are going to play havoc with the business community. And I can guarantee you this, if that happens, there's going to be an uprising, I think.
An uprising.
Yeah. The natives are going to get restless. So I would hate to see that. There were some other items that were covered, but quite frankly, they couldn't make any decisions in voting because no quorum.
No quorum?
Yeah, they were done. The next one was the Oxford Downtown Development Authority, and I attended that one. They had talked about signage for 23rd North Washington, which is the Irish pub.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Irish
Bigar
pub is going in.
Bigara.
Yes.
Erengo Bra.
And they brought drawings and snapshots of the way the inside of this pub is going to look. And it's truly an Irish accented pub. And they're even looking at possibly putting up a wee leprechaun up there or something, to get
Here's a
your
bit of
attention.
trivia. You know what pub stands for?
Pub? Opsa pup?
Public
PUB.
house.
Public house.
First three
How
letters.
did you know that?
Hey.
Hey,
know
he's all
everything.
knowledgeable. He used to be on top of a mountain. You'd have to climb up there and he'd be up there. No, I don't think so.
Get off my mountain.
Right. Okay, so we know the definition of a pub now, where it came from. Where did it come from?
England.
England? Oh, you would know that. Irish, I wouldn't have any idea. Anyway, here we go. They did a treasurer's report. Of course, there's very limited amount of money. They were able to have 3 items required to be paid for, and they passed an amendment to allow $14,965 to be spent, from what existing money they have, which they have $16,942 left.
Could I get back to the pub?
No.
I want to go back to the pub.
Okay, we're back at the pub.
When is it supposed to be in operation?
It's going to be in operation, they tell me, sometime in October, possibly.
Of this year?
Of this year.
Wonderful. October.
October, next month.
That's pretty quick.
It is, yep.
Wow.
They want to be in before November and certainly by St. Patrick's Day next year.
Those little leprechauns must be pounding away in there to get that place
I
ready.
tell you, these Irish, they don't have any moss under them. They have shillelaghs, but they have no moss.
okay.
But they make things
And a
happen.
bit of the pure.
They do, yes, okay. Right. They took the resignation, though, of 3 people. Tom Jones, whose term on the DDA had expired. Resignation from Jim Belak, there was a businessman downtown, and Anna Taylor.
Wow.
all
Talk about not having a
resigned.
quorum.
Right. So that leaves them roughly, I think, with about 3 members. I think it's a 9-member, group.
Oh.
So they're going to have to get some more people, that would be interested in doing this. Personally, I was disappointed that they
Did they give reasons?
did. They pointed out that first of all, the DDA should be self-sufficient in handling their own finances. And I couldn't agree more with that. It's just that they have to get in a position where they've got somebody that can recognize what needs to be done financially and how to keep the books.
Were they talking more about
that's
their
the plan.
relationship with the council?
Well, they did talk about the relationship with the council, and that's kind of old water under the old bridge, but they feel that they should have the same page that they're working from, which communications is what they're talking about. They need to communicate with each other. And that's an item that we are well aware of that needs to be done. When we talk about reorganization, the reorganization was not to eliminate all these people. They have knowledge and experience that they bring in, over the years of working with it.
Right.
And because they ran into financial situation, that was the whole reason why the director, her wages were not approved in the budget. That's because there was no money. So that was an impact.
That's a euphemistic way of saying
Yeah.
they fired her.
Well, they didn't really fire her.
Well,
there's no money.
They let her go.
Well,
They downsized.
Okay, and you can go on forever
They
as to whose
downsized.
fault that
They
was.
right-sized.
But it still comes down to the fact that they had no money in their budget, so that's the crux of this thing. There are procedural problems that need to be ironed
Mm-hmm.
out. There are directions that need to be taken, which there's a short and a long term goals, which they're going to have to be working with, and that
I
was
thought
on the
they
list.
came up with those already.
Well, they did, but they need to discuss them. They're only conjecture up to this point.
Oh.
And with people leaving, that particular board, it's even more critical,
Right.
that
And with new people coming in, we'll have no new ideas.
they're going to have to get reoriented to, what direction they want to
What
take
is their
here.
outstanding budget right now? Or that is to say balance?
Well, they have roughly about $30,000 actually, which is,
That
got
doesn't
monies
give you-
coming in,
That
but
doesn't give you too much flexibility.
no, right now it doesn't. We know that, but they're going to have some money coming in, and that's why I hate to see these people with this experience leave, because I would say next year there will be funding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say it's going to be as much as what they'd like to have, like they want to spend $4 million on streetscape, but they're going to have money where they can operate comfortably and still generate capital, into their accounts.
Has the issue of recommendations for coordinating with the MDOT revision of M24 come up?
We have endorsed through the council engineering company to go forward with that.
Okay.
So they are doing all the necessary plans and so forth. There's a company that's been assigned to it. So yes, it's going forward.
And that is scheduled for 2015?
It is. It may move sooner, and it may move a little later than that. And it's going to be coordinated
Is that based on state financing?
on state financing, also
Okay.
state coordination of the effort.
Okay.
So they're very much involved. Well, that being said, a lot of things went on. We can't cover everything, but what's coming up?
Well then, on 9/23, that's this Monday coming, the Oxford Area Cable Communications Commission will have its monthly meeting. So we operate under their auspices, so if you're interested in seeing how that operates, please attend, and that'll be over at the Betts Hall. On 9/24, oh, I'm sorry. Due to a scheduling problem, it will be at our studio. So if you wish to see our studio and see the commission meeting, please come.
Somehow I missed-
1775 North Lapeer Road, Unit C. Okay, and on 9/24, at 6:30, the Village of Oxford Council, another interesting meeting, I'm sure. On 9/25, 6:30, the Oxford Board of Education will be meeting at Leonard Elementary School. So if you live out that way, be sure and go. At 9:26, at 7 o'clock, the Oxford Township Planning Commission, and another dynamite meeting there, I'm sure.
Oh, yes, be there. And I want to just mention that October 2nd, at the Oxford Village Memorial Center, Veterans Hall, there's a special meeting by the Planning Commission, Economic Development Committee. which will discuss the no-stop or the one-stop program. No-stop is what I call Oxford, but one-stop program. This is Elgin Nichols. This is
Dave Kenny.
We'll catch you next time on Minutes by Minute.
You're watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television, serving Oxford, Addison Township, and the village of Leonard.
At Oakland County Parks and Recreation, we value what you value: family relationships, community connections, good health, environmental stewardship, and economic stability. Oakland County residents and businesses have invested in preserving nearly 7,000 acres of parkland. Since 1966, 13 parks and golf courses have been acquired, maintained, and improved. Oakland County parks and facilities are made possible by millage funds supported by Oakland County residents. For a home valued at $200,000, the homeowner pays less than $25 per year to support the Oakland County parks. With every generation, families create lifelong memories at Oakland County's award-winning parks. From exciting summer escapades and stories around the campfire to brisk fall walks on wooded trails and snowy winter outings, the outdoors beckons year-round. It's time to get up, get out, and get going at the Oakland County parks. Active recreation options abound. Cross-country ski or mountain bike on tree-lined trails. Scale the rock climbing wall. Get your kicks with soccer at several sports fields. Row or paddle a boat on 4 picturesque inland lakes. It's an easy journey. Most parks are just a short drive away. A quick tip: all our parks and golf courses end in Oaks. To find your favorite, just go to destinationoakland.com. Click to pick Oceans of Motion water parks at Red Oaks and Waterford Oaks, the Wint Nature Center at Independence Oaks, Teen Adventures, and even entertainment to go. When outdoor adventures on your list, there's fishing, beaches, boating, playgrounds, and seasonal hunting. The campgrounds at Addison Oaks and Groveland Oaks feel like being up north with plenty of recreation options. Want to get fit? Hit the trails. Oakland County Parks boasts more than 68 miles for strolling, walking, hiking and running, biking, or horseback riding. If the links are your lure, 5 golf courses, including Premier Course Lion Oaks, are conveniently located. Make Glen Oaks or White Lake Oaks your home course. Get an up-north feel at Springfield Oaks, or play a quick 9 at Red Oaks. Our recreation lineup rocks. Learn to swim. Experience an outdoor adventures camp. Take the fast track at BMX, or gain new lifelong skills. Everyone's included. Individuals with disabilities participate in dozens of adaptive opportunities, including a new fully accessible playscape, modified golf carts, and annual events.
You're watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television, serving Oxford, Addison Township, and the Village of Leonard. You're watching OCTV, Oxford Community Television, serving Oxford, Addison Township, and the Village of Leonard.